is wonderful and you should buy it immediately. But I wrote it a long time ago, so I'm a bit bored with it myself. Not that you would be. So this is brand new. I was just finishing this off this afternoon. It's a short story called Fate Chain. Little Dunlow, England's prettiest village, runner-up 1987, cannot be seen from space. Bill, flying 400 kilometers above the Earth, was not looking for the village. His eyes were fixed on the departing shuttle carrying his wife, Paula, back to Earth. Her last words were final. "I want a divorce. It's over." If it was over, then so was everything else. He pushed himself away from the International Space Station's observation window and floated towards the main system's console. His company provided the shuttle service, and he designed the vehicle. With no one looking, Bill entered the shuttle's master access codes and then a series of commands before moving on. Floating past the multinational crew, he ignored their greetings. Bill selected a heavy-duty bolt gun from the power tools cabinet and moved on, making his way towards the section holding the main oxygen tanks. Paula looked back at the rapidly shrinking space station and wondered how such a clever man as Bill could be so stupidly in love. "How did he take it?" Andrew, the shuttle pilot, asked. Idiot had no clue. "I can't wait till we're married," she said, watching the space station shrink. Paula instinctively shielded her eyes from the bright flash. Then there was nothing to see but the stars and an expanding cloud of debris. Bill and the station were gone. "That's a bit of luck," Paula whispered. The divorce would have been messy and expensive. The shuttle's main thruster kicked in aggressively, pinning Paula back in her seat. "Is that supposed to happen?" "No, our descent's too acute." Something big and white flew past her window. "What the hell was that?" Andrew tightened his harness. The fuel tanks detached itself. "I'm sorry. We've no control, no comms. I love you." The Earth was coming up fast. Paula recoiled and screamed when the flames started lapping at her window. Little Dunlow, England's prettiest village runner-up 1987, could be seen from the small single-prop aircraft flying over its ancient church spire, narrow cobbled streets, assorted flint and stone houses and quaint shops. The brand new community centre, built from local oak and roofed with sparkling solar panels, stood out. It was only Harry's third solo flight, and he was enjoying the view. The calm weather, brilliant sunshine, and happy memories of Mary. Her whole family had tried to crush their relationship, but they eloped. True love, and he was truly in love, didn't need a prenup. But new wills were only sensible. Mary's fatal accident so soon after they were married was unfortunate. He'd always loved what he'd always loved about Mary, her money. Harry banked and headed away from the village towards the coast and the sparkling sea on the horizon. A high-pitched scream penetrated his cockpit, and then something smashed into his aeroplane. Harry looked back, the tail was gone. The plane started spiraling across the sky. Looking down, he saw something glowing, white hot, heading for the outskirts of the village. The floor of the plane split open, throwing Harry, still strapped in his seat, away from the wreckage of the cartwheeling plane. Above him, something big and white was slowly descending on parachutes. His own chute was lost in the debris of the burning plane. Harry didn't panic. He'd always been lucky. He was not that high up. Freeing himself from the chair, he stretched out his limbs and glided towards the roof of a nearby barn, right on the edge of the village. At this time of year, the barn would be full of soft winter feed. Charles was admiring the new concrete floor in his barn, laid in preparation to converting it into a luxury holiday home. It was going to make him a lot of money. First, he needed council and parish planning permission, and he'd never get it while Clara, little Dunlow's oldest continuous resident, was around. Today, Charles planned to lure Clara back to the barn and kill her. Charles wasn't heartless. He'd use his slaughterhouse bolt gun. It was humane and painless for cows. There was a thunderous noise outside. The floor trembled, felling Charles. As he got to his feet, he heard a woman scream, and then a loud noise as Harry crashed through the barn roof and smashed into him, killing them both. Earlier, inside the Little Dunlow Community Centre, the local council consultation was ending. Clara, Little Dunlow's oldest continuous resident, was refusing to give up the microphone. I haven't finished. Clara, be sensible. This isn't a planning meeting. This hideous building has ruined our chances of ever being England's prettiest village. I'm sorry you feel that way, Clara. No one else agrees. The whole village, apart from you, voted for the centre. There were loud cheers from the audience behind her and cries of, "Hear, hear!" Clara turned and glared. None of you live here. You just pop in when it suits. There was a tremendous crash and the whole building shook. Everyone rushed outside. A little way off, smoke was rising from a crater that had appeared near Charles's barn. Clara was disappointed that it, whatever it was, had missed the hall. As the horrified crowd stared, Clara spotted something else falling from the sky. It looked like a man trying to glide. She screamed and pointed. Everyone looked up in time to track the man's descent and see him crash through the barn roof and disappear. While the other villagers turned away, Clara's eyes were again drawn skyward by a strange whooshing sound. A small plane, broken and burning, was spiraling towards them like a sycamore seed. Clara shrieked as she hobbled away. A loud explosion followed by a fierce wind blew Clara over. When she'd recovered and could look back, the community centre was on fire and largely demolished. Many of the second homers were scattered about, lying in awkward, bloody poses, unmoving. Clara punched the air with her walking stick. The shuttle's fuel tank, hanging below 3 parachutes, made its tardy entrance. It missed the punctured bar, the skeletal remains of this community centre, and the crater holding Paula and Andrew's pulverised corpses. Clara momentarily noticed the shadow enveloping her before the shuttle's detached tank settled, crushing little Dunlow's continuous oldest resident. Footnote from Creepypedia. Fate chain, a definition. A fate chain is a list of fates which are securely linked together using demonography. Each fate has a demonic hash of previous and future linked fates. Initiation of any fate in the fate chain triggers all linked fates. To discover your place in the fate chain, use the handy Deserves to Die Screaming tool. It's free with 12 goats sacrificed.